Hello and welcome to Noggin Comics. I'm Kyle, and today we're going to be talking about our experience at tabling, setting up, and during the Minnesota Comic Exchange Comic Show. So throughout the Minnesota Comic Exchange Comic Show, uh, Nora and I, we tabled as the Minnesota Comic Exchange and as Noggin Comics. Uh, and I've got to say, it is still strange, in a good way, to hear people refer to you as Noggin Comics. Uh, I'm gonna tell a little, before we dive into the books that we got, a little footage of from the show. I want to talk about a interaction that we had. So Manny from Chimera Cinema was there. We were right across from each other. It was kind of cool. Manny's been a supporter of the channel now for a year since we started, and this is the first time that I got to meet him in person. Nora's met him at the shop at Mind's Eye in the past, but this is the first time I got to meet him. And he comes to our table. Now, we were fairly busy the entire time. We didn't get to go around and look at the other vendors until about an hour before the show closed. I mean, we were pretty busy. And he comes over and shows me this message that he has on his phone. And it says, "I really like Tales from the Ugly Chair." And, at first I didn't react in the way that it took me almost 24 hours to fully understand that we're doing something here. So I'm just sitting back, and that's like, actually keeps coming back to my mind, is like, we have done something, like, we've created something that people actually want to watch. So that was really interesting. And then, people coming over like, "Hey, can we collaborate on stuff?" That was another thing that I never thought that I would hear at a convention, because, we're either helping out people at the shows, setting up, helping out vendors. But this time around, people were coming to our table, meeting us, saying, "Hey, we watched channels, nice meeting you guys." And that was just a snippet of the amazing show that we had. So, the Minnesota Comic Exchange, I'm an admin to it, and this is currently our shirt. What we currently only have 4XL left. We sold out fairly fast of them, but our goal is to, have a section on Facebook where you can feel comfortable. If you're living in Minnesota or the Midwest area, you can feel comfortable having a little community of comic book people. Like we have, we call it exchange because we buy, sell, and trade on it. But we also talk about the MCU, DC, cinema, and animated stuff. Anything that's got to deal with comic books, we talk about. And it is so much more than just buy, selling, and trading. And that's kind of what this comic show showed. Because, we sold for first time ever that we sold comics. And we sold over half our table, which is amazing. But we spent most of the time. Now, the show ran from 9 to 2. And we spent most of that time talking. In fact, I didn't film this the night we got home because I basically had no voice. But we're going to do more. I think because of the success that we had of the show, we're going to do more. And, you're going to realize that I have video playing throughout this on the side of what the show looked like. And I gotta be honest, I didn't expect the turnout that we had. I knew the people that are going to be like, I was part of setting it up, and I knew the people were going to be at the show. I just didn't expect such a positive energy, such an energy that you could feel when you stepped into the mall. It was a strip mall. When you step into the mall, you can just feel this positive energy. People wanted to be there. There was good deals to be found. I'm going to show you a couple comics that we got for 20% off. at really good deals. And then shout out to Manny again, who I've got a couple things from him right here. And I got a print from Avery Walker. Now you're gonna be seeing Avery's layout most likely in the video, one of these videos I've playing on the side. But I'm gonna show you the print first that we got from Avery. Now, Nora and I have gotten into X-Men hard recently. We've been watching the X-Men anime series, reading X-Men, especially since Judgment Day has started. That's kind of when we started reading it more, and I've been loving X-Men Red, Immortal X-Men, and X-Force. I never thought that I would like X-Force because I'm not a Liefeld guy all that much. Let's back up a quick though. I do like some of Liefeld creations. This conversation we had with somebody at the show is you either love Liefeld or you hate Liefeld, and there's no in between. And that's what I was thinking about it. I'm like, am I in the in between? Like there's times I do like his artwork, and there's other times I don't. So I know Nora hates Liefeld. But sorry for that little tangent. But yeah, here's the print that we got from Avery. It's the X-Men Spider-Man. He had a Storm one too. That was just Storm, short hair. She was holding a cloud. I saw like getting that one too. Nice thing is though is that we have quite a few shows happening. I can think of 3 of them that we have going on in the next couple of months that I'm sure Avery will be at, and I'm sure I'll probably buy that print. Manny, who was right across from us, he had a toy that I've been wanting for some time, and we go to the Minnesota Toy Posse shows all the time, but we just never really buy this toy. Well, finally I said screw it. There was 20 minutes before the show ended, and I'm like, I want to support my friends, so why not add to my collection as well? We got this Storm and Thunderbird Legend set. Nora loves Storm, so do I. But when I was graduating college, I actually wrote a paper on the importance of indigenous people in comic books. And I kind of fell in love with Thunderbird. It's like one of the characters I fell in love with while writing that thesis. So I had to get that. Funny thing is, he was talking about, different things about toys. And, granted, we may have a crap ton of Funko Pops, but we don't know much about toys. And then, we only got 4 comics. And I think that is because of the fact, like I said, we spent most of the time talking and selling. But, I think since I just showed the X-Men stuff, 2 of the books that we got are X-Men related. This is Uncanny X-Men 145. And then Uncanny X-Men 200. Now, I'll be honest, I probably wouldn't have gotten this unless I saw the image from the animated series coming out. But then, that was what? San Diego Comic-Con, so not that long ago, but we were just started getting heavy into X-Men at that time, and that came up. So when I saw these two issues, I think they were $8 a piece, and 20% off of that, I had to pull the trigger on it and get them. And then, with it being spooky season, I had to get a horror book somehow, somewhere. And at the same table, we had 30 tables there. I only bought from 2. I only bought from Manny. And we bought from Dennis Vogan. Dennis is a friend of the channel. He's been on here multiple times. Bought his first book that he wrote. Like, we've got most of his stuff. We never bought the first book. But back to being spooky season. Dead of Night #1. It's in really good shape too. I was surprised when I opened this up. even Nora, who's not much into the older back issues, was like, I actually kind of want to read that. And by chance, let's just say it was by chance, when we planned this show, it wasn't Batman Day yet. And sure enough, the announcement that Batman Day was going to be on September 17th, it just seemed fitting to buy something for Batman Day. So, ended up buying Batman 202. The thing that got me was the cover. And this guy, like I said, he had some good deals on his books. None of these books were over $20. And on top of that, it was 20% off. And I think that was a common thing that we seen at the show, was that there was a lot of deals to be had. So if you are in the Minnesota area, keep an eye out, or in the Midwest area even, keep an eye out for the announcement for our next show. And if you don't belong to the Minnesota Comic Exchange, and if, let's say you're in Wisconsin or Illinois or anything that's connecting to Minnesota, just find us and join our group. We have a questionnaire, very simple questions. But yeah, we are very shocked at how well this went. If you're curious of what Nora and I sold, we sold $20 slabs and bundles of comics, full runs, less than $20. So the biggest bundle that we had was the whole series of Die. So 20 issues at $15. And we were talking, and that is something that we're going to be doing at these shows now. We can't promise that we're going to have slabs $20 all the time, but we can promise to have cheap bundles. If you see us tabling at a show, we're going to have cheap bundles. And that brings us to the next show. The next show is actually in now 6 days from recording this. So that is MicroCon at the Mermaid in Mountain View, Minnesota. We're going to be there with Mind's Eye Comics, where Nora works at. And last time I was at this show, I got a pretty big pretty big stack of comics. Most of them are horror and wrestling based. And I kind of know that this time it's going to be X-Men and horror. Probably wrestling related still. But before I head off, I just want to ask one question. If you've been here for this 12.5-minute rundown of the show, this guy asked a really good question when we were working the table. He seen that we had a lot of these bundles of independent comics. And he goes, well, in your opinion, what is the best ongoing independent book? And Nora and I sat there for about a good 25 seconds, 30 seconds. Only one book came to mind that I could think of. And then when I got home and started reading, another book came to mind. So on the spot, I had to say Do a Powerbomb by Danny Warren Johnson. And he was shocked because he's seen the book, he just never bought it, but he was like, I didn't think that was going to be that good of a book. And even Nora, like, yeah, that book's emotional, man, you've got to read it. But then when we got home, and I started reading, Dark Space Wildfire was another one that came to mind. So I want to know, if you're watching this, what is your favorite ongoing independent comic? But until then, until you see us in the ugly chair, have a good time and see you at the comic shop.